Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream for Real Watchers for January 22nd, 2025. Hope you're all having a good day so far, and hope you're all hanging in. It's been quite a week so far, but Kevin, how the hell you been?
I've been good. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in with school getting underway and, the typical kind of things going on.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
We have a comment here from our good friend Nadia over at Horror and More. Says, "Howdy ho."
Howdy ho.
Well, howdy ho. Glad to have you along with us.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not waste any time. We know we're all doing all right. Let's go ahead and jump into... I forgot to put this together. This is a bad idea. But first news story this week is that the 2025 Razzie nominations have been announced. I forgot to put together a slideshow for this one, but let's go ahead and go through them all real quick. Go ahead and get the everything pulled up here, because this is quite a list of things going on here. So let's go ahead and we're going to talk about these real quick. Of course, the Razzie nominations are for the worst movies of 2025. So let's go ahead and dive along. Thanks to Variety for having this article for us. But worst screenplay of the year: Joker, Folia Du, Craven the Hunter, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan are the nominees for worst screenplay of the year. Okay. For worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, we have The Crow, Joker 2, Craven the Hunter, Mufasa, The Lion King, and Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. Kind of interesting to see Mufasa on here. I mean, I get it, but it's been quite success. I mean, success doesn't mean that it's a good movie. I take that back. All right, next up is worst screen combo. We have any two obnoxious characters, but especially Jack Black for Borderlands. Any two unfunny comedic actors from Unfrosted. The entire cast of Megalopolis. Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga for Joker 2. And Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Miller as Ronnie and Nancy in Reagan. Okay. We have worst director. We have S.J. Clarkson for Madam Web. Francis Ford Coppola for Megalopolis. Todd Phillips for Joker, Folia Du, Eli Roth for Borderlands, and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. We have worst supporting actress. We have Ariana DeBose for Argyle and Craven the Hunter, Leslie Ann Down as Margaret Thatcher from Reagan, Emma Roberts from Madam Web, Amy Schumer from Unfrosted, and FKA Twigs from The Crow. Supporting actor, we have Jack Black, voice only, in Borderlands, Kevin Hart from Borderlands, Shia LaBeouf in drag from Megalopolis, Tahar Rahim from Madam Web, and a surprising one nomination for 4 movies for John Voight for Megalopolis, Reagan, Shadowland, and Strangers. Worst actress, we have Cate Blanchett for Borderlands, Lady Gaga for Joker 2, Bryce Dallas Howard for Argyle, Dakota Johnson for Madam Web, and Jennifer Lopez for Atlas. And worst actor, we have Jack Black for Dear Santa, Zachary Levi for Harold and the Purple Crayon, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker 2, Dennis Quaid for Reagan, and Jerry Seinfeld for Unfrosted. And the nominees for Worst Picture are Borderlands, Joker 2, Madam Web, Megalopolis, and Reagan. It's always fun.
I mean,
these worst ones of the year. I didn't actually go and see Reagan, so I can't comment on that. I think Megalopolis it's not great, but I don't think it's terrible either. Madam Web, Joker 2, Borderlands, I can see why those are all on here. I mean, Borderlands is simply the worst movie of the year, but that's spoiling the Real Watchers Awards. So we'll get to that a little later on, but those are the Razzie nominations.
Nice. I mean, there's some people that are nominated so many times that actually I feel bad for them.
Yeah, it's like Nadia says here, I don't know how I would feel about receiving an award for worst movie of the year. Like, thank you?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they should have known better with putting those things out. So, it's all right. Looks like it's a full-on fist fight if Marvel or DC will win most awards for the Razzie. Yeah, well, specifically Sony's Marvel movies. So, yeah, we'll see who ends up taking it away. It'll probably, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a lot of stuff for Joker 2 and Megalopolis, if I had to pick anything based on reception for those movies. Also, Madam Web as well. So, and boy, I mean, all of them deserve
all
it.
of them.
Also, if you didn't know, you can join the Razzie Guild for $40 a year, and you can vote on who wins.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's an actual thing you can have a membership to. So
that's funny.
If I start becoming more professional with my criticism, then I'll have to join. But those are your nominations for the Razzie Awards.
Congratulations, or not congratulations. Next up, Ryan Gosling joins the Star Wars film coming from Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy. Cool. I don't know what he's going to be, but cool.
We'll see if it actually comes out, too. The Star Wars movies have a bad track record right now for actually being announced and then not coming out.
Yep, exactly.
So, well, that's exciting, though. I mean, Ryan Gosling is a great actor, and I'd love to see what he can do in the Star Wars universe, because he wants to do more things that he can show his kids, kind of a thing. So,
that's cool.
All here for it. Unfortunately, got some sad news here, and that is that David Lynch, the legendary director of films such as Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, among many others, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 78. This is a big one. The entire kind of cinephile world was really feeling this. And it really sucks to see him go. So
it does. I need to watch a lot of his movies because they're older movies. So, but I mean, we'll get to them eventually.
Yep.
But next up, Benedict Cumberbatch reveals Doctor Strange will not be in Avengers Doomsday, but he will be in a lot of Avengers Secret Wars. And he says to go on, was going to be originally in Doomsday, but then after cutting Kang out, he is not in it, unfortunately. So, but you know, I can use some Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange. So
yep. He's one of my favorite MCU characters. So I'm definitely, I want more of him. But as long as there's a good reason for why he's not in Doomsday, we have no idea what Doomsday.
And he could just be pulling our legs too.
It's true. It's very true. Next up, super exciting news here. One of my favorite directors, Robert Eggers, coming off the success of Nosferatu. His next film is officially Werewolf and will be releasing on Christmas in 2026. I am so ready for this. It is a 13th century werewolf movie, a gothic horror werewolf movie similar to like Nosferatu. I am all here for it.
May I ask, why did he spell werewolf that way?
I believe it's like the original German way to write it or something. I don't know. It'll probably be set in Europe. So,
dude, he's gonna have 2 movies in 2 years. That's crazy to think about.
Well, how successful Nosferatu recently was. I want to double check my numbers on this real quick. Where Nosferatu currently is in terms of its kind of haul. Yeah, it's made $156 million worldwide. So it's a success.
Good.
And so I think that studios are going to continue to give him the money that he can do it with.
Nice. Very cool.
All here for it.
I'll see it. Paramount has revealed Sonic the Hedgehog 4 will be released on March 19th, 2027. I mean, it just goes up from here. So, I mean,
we'll see.
They have so much of the world that they can do it on. So, why not?
There's a lot of Sonic lore that I didn't even know needed to exist. Next up, Avatar Fire and Ash will have the same runtime as the second film, which I'm forgetting the name of right now, and will be 3 hours and 12 minutes.
It's Way of Water.
Oh, Way of Water, that's right. I don't know, it was so much like the first movie, I couldn't care. I mean, I'm actually excited for this one. We're having evil Na'vi, which I'm all here for. And some of the early photos we've been seeing of either concept art or kind of first images look great. So I don't know. We'll see if it's any good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully it is, but I'm just okay on Avatar Land and stuff like that. I'm not hyped about it or anything like that.
Nope. Yeah.
But I know Disney's hyped about this. Moana 2 has hit $1 billion at the box office. Cool. Awesome. I mean,
Latest movie to join the $1 billion club.
I mean, it's not a bad movie in whatsoever. But
I mean, it's not great.
No, it's not great either.
But it's not a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, really surprising news. Greta Gerwig's next film, which is going to be a adaptation of the Narnia films, is going to release in IMAX on Thanksgiving Day 2026. This is huge because this is a Netflix film. And there's been a lot of drama about Netflix not wanting to release anything theatrically. And this will be released for 2 weeks theatrically exclusive, which is huge. It sounds like there was an issue where Greta Gerwig might have backed out of the movie if it didn't get theatrical release, because the head of Netflix is a fucking moron and doesn't want to put anything in theaters. But it's all right.
Mm-hmm. That's true, but we'll see. Next up, Gladiator 2 is now available to stream on Paramount Plus, which I got to check out. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later on. Mm-hmm. Next up, I'm really excited about this. Warfare will be officially releasing on April 11th, 2025. I didn't know that it did not have a release date, but I am super on board with this after that great trailer we got. And this is from the same director that did Civil War, co-directing with an Iraq war veteran who is sharing his story from memory, which is
crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about that somebody went through this as well. So, but I'm down. I'm down for it. Looks great too. New Goonies and Gremlins movies in the works at Warner Brothers. Just don't mess them up, please.
We had talked about this a little bit last week because I guess the news had broken just kind of before or just right around the time the start of the stream, and Nadia had brought that up in the chat, specifically about the Gremlins movies, which I understand them wanting to do new Gremlins movies as long as they're practical. That's all I ask. I did not hear anything until this week about there being a new Goonies movie, which I do not know how I feel about that.
I mean, why? That's the reason. It's why are we doing it?
The original is a classic for so many people. And I mean, like, the only reason I'm not as warm about it is because I didn't watch it as a kid. If I watched it as a kid, I probably would have fucking loved it. Yeah, it's still a very good movie. Don't get me wrong, but like, I can see why people will be really upset that they're going to be looking at a new one. Hopefully they at least bring back the original cast. I know Ke Huy Quan's looking for work, so let's give him some stuff. And
he's doing great things too with some movies that are coming up that look actually really good.
Yeah. And last up here, the upcoming Mission Impossible 8. Apparently, there's an action scene that during early screenings of the film almost gave one of the viewers a heart attack.
Are they sure they didn't sign like an NDA form coming in before that?
Well, this is the director was sharing this in a recent interview, so it wasn't that person saying their experience. But it sounds like the action scenes are going to be as stress-inducing and crazy as ever for this film.
We'll see about that.
It looks like they're going to try and do something like they did for Terrifier, how they're marketing it, that had people throwing up in the theater. They're going to probably use this to be like it's a real humdinger.
Yeah, after seeing Terrifier 3, I can see why people threw up in the theaters.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But that's all the news stories for this week. Let's go ahead and jump in here. That's $40 I could put towards something that matters and not contributing to a worst of anything. Yeah, well.
Not wrong.
So Eggers is just going to show Winnell how it's done. Yeah, probably. We'll see. I did not get the chance to go and see Wolfman this week.
No.
But
mixed reviews,
but I would rather see it in a 13th century Gothic setting. 100%. So I'm all here for
your favorite director.
I'm one of my favorite directors. Garrett, for Sonic lore, you have no idea. Just don't go down the fanfic path. I already know. I don't know like the fanfic, but I've seen what it can do to people, and it's very disturbing. So
I don't need it. I mean, I don't need it. I don't want to know about it. So
and you don't need it. But let's go ahead and change it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about the trailers that came out this week. We did get quite a few good-looking ones, so let's go ahead and discuss it. Kevin,
I didn't see any of them.
Alrighty, well that makes it nice and easy.
Well, I should say I know the monkey looks good. I did not see the Until Dawn trailer. And Mickey 17 looks good. So that's all good for me.
So yeah, calling those out. The Monkey is the new film from the director of Longlegs, and it's quickly become one of my most anticipated movies of this year. Until Dawn, we actually got the proper trailer after talking about that first look last week, and I think Until Dawn looks great from concept alone. It's kind of going down the route of like a Groundhog Day type situation, but it's not the same day repeating.
Yeah.
It's every time they all die, they get to come back, and then they're in like a new horror genre or a new horror movie, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like there's like a found footage one, there's like a serial killer one, there's one with like a giant, which looks really I don't know. I'm here for it, man. Opus looks fucking weird.
What is that?
I don't know if it's Neon or if it's A24. Let me double check. Opus is A24 is about, I guess, like some sort of music critic. It gets invited to this pop star's like cult compound to hear a performance of their music. Looks like a kind of Midsommar type horror movie, which I'm all here for. Mickey 17 looks great. Hell of a Summer looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. One of the stars of Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, is directing the film, and it looks like a tribute to it looks like a tribute to classic Friday the 13th, which I'm all here for. 0 Day looks really interesting. Netflix's upcoming movie with a bunch of big name actors in it, including Robert De Niro. Looks all right. And then Drop just looks like another low budget Blumhouse movie that we're going to get marketed to death. And it will probably be decent. So
at most.
Yeah. But that's it for the trailers that came out this week. Opus sounds like a siege operator. Yeah.
Yep.
A little bit. Some sort of sonic weaponry. Hire me, Ubisoft. But let's go ahead and get into the box office, Kevin.
Yeah. So Mufasa, The Lion King, yeah, I said that right. With $12.1 million coming in at first place. Kiki Palmer's one of them days with 11.8 million. Really wasn't marketed at all. I think I saw like one trailer from it. So good for them. The Wolfman coming in with 10.9, very disappointing. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 8.6 million. Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, 6.6 million, rounding out the top 5.
Dropping from first to fifth.
Yeah. But I think that's a movie that you'll only see once in theaters and then rent it, or it'll be on Netflix in like a couple of weeks and watch it again. That'll be on a streaming network soon. But yeah, really surprising to see One of Them Days doing so well. That the trailers to that movie looked awful. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't speculate on it. I just know the trailers look terrible. But Mufasa hanging in at number 1. Yeah. Really interesting. The battle between that and Sonic 3 has been fascinating to watch. So, but let's go ahead and change it up again, getting into the movies that come out this weekend. And we're starting off with one that I'm super excited for, which is Presence. A family becomes convinced that they are not alone after moving into their new home in the suburbs. This looks really interesting. It is a haunted house movie shot from the perspective of the ghost. So very much different.
Has a 78 on Metacritic right now. So very high considering where most horror movies end up. So very much looking forward to that. After that is Flight Risk. A pilot transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem. This is the new Mel Gibson movie with Mark Wahlberg looking real weird in a bald cap.
Yeah, so, Nadia always says that when she sees the trailer for it.
Yeah, exactly. Another movie that I'm really excited for is The Colors Within. A girl who can see colors in people's hearts joins a band with 2 other people. I'm really looking forward to this because this is from the director of A Silent Voice, which got Kevin to watch, and it is probably one of the best Japanese animated movies ever, in my opinion, in terms of its story. So really looking forward to this. Looks like it's very differently animated from usual. So very excited for that one.
Very like color brush or brush, what art?
Painterly?
Yeah, so it's like, yeah,
a little bit more artistic, like in the way that it's presented in terms of in different, like in terms of like regular anime films.
and yeah, exactly.
Not that they're not artistic, they are. But lastly is Inheritance, a movie that I didn't even know was coming out. But when Maya learns about her father Sam, that he was once a spy, she suddenly finds herself at the center of an international conspiracy. This just looks like one of those, early January political thriller type movies. So it looks shot really interestingly. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It looks more like an indie movie with the way it's shot.
Okay.
But that's it for the movies that are coming out this week, and therefore the end of all of our scripted content for the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and change up the music here, because it's time to talk about those movies that we watched over the course of the last week. So Kevin beat me this week.
I did.
Kevin watched 3 movies outside the wheel spin. I only watched 1.
Correct.
So we'll just have Kevin do the 3 of his movies first, then I'll go. Then Kevin will go with his short, and we'll do it that way. So let's start it out with the first movie that you watched this week, Kevin.
The Substance. Just catching up on my 2024 movies. Are we doing spoilers or no?
Please do not spoil the movie for anyone.
Okay, sounds good. This is a great, fantastic body horror movie, is what I would put this at. And the psychological horror in this movie as well, I absolutely loved. Yeah, it was so eerie at points, and you know what's happening during the story, but you understand why it's happening. And I loved how they kept on saying the premise of the story is you guys are one. You have to switch off every 7 weeks, stuff like that. And they kept melting that into your head, and you knew it. And so it made you even more anxious when something happens that they don't follow the rules pretty much. So I gave it a 90 out of 100. And Demi Moore and I forget the other girl.
Margaret Qualley.
Really, really good dynamic, I think. Never really talking to each other. But they played each other very well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one of the best movies of the year. So glad you checked it out.
Yeah, and then another one I checked out, A Different Man with Sebastian Stan. This was fantastic. I see I don't want to call them disability people, but I see people with disabilities a lot at my job. So seeing this from a perspective of a movie, and if you could get quote unquote cured for that disease and how it might affect you, and it was just a really cool, different movie about what could happen if you could change how you look, and seeing another person with that same disease and how they act around their disease as well. Really fantastic. Sebastian Stan is the standout in this movie. I absolutely loved him and all of his acting in this movie. So I gave it a 92 out of 100.
Alrighty. Yeah, kind of a nice also message for like people, like for anything that they may be ashamed of, like who they are, right? If they're overweight, or if they're queer, or if they're like any kind of thing that is kind of like outcasted in some circles, and then they kind of feel shame about it. Like, no, you're better who you are.
Yeah, and Pearson is absolutely hilarious in this movie. Like you were saying, I didn't think he would be that funny, but he was great in this movie.
Yeah.
Next up, I saw Gladiator 2. I don't know what I gave Gladiator 1, to be honest. I think I gave this a higher score.
Well, I can tell you. Give me 1 second.
But this one, fantastic movie. I think I liked it possibly a little bit more because of the fighting and the arena and the gladiator aspect of it. And it was shot so beautifully as well. The cinematography is fantastic. But dude, Denzel just brings down the house being the villain in this movie. I absolutely loved him. So I gave it an 82 out of 100. I absolutely enjoyed the heck out of it.
You gave the first one an 89.
89? Okay.
There you go. But those are the three that Kevin watched, and I watched one this week outside the wheel spin, which is Kung Fu Panda 4. And oh, God. All right. The Kung Fu Panda trilogy is a really great, what's called a triptych of films. All of them are good. I mean, they kind of stumble a little bit with the third one. It's not as good as 1 and 2, but on the whole, all three are very good. This one is like, if the third one was a slight stumble, this is it falling on its face. Everything feels like a step down. There are whole members of the cast do not come back in this movie for no explicable reason. Well, I mean, they say they're off doing missions, but like, clearly they couldn't get anyone back. The animation feels worse than any movie recently that DreamWorks has done. It feels like it was originally supposed to be a TV show, kind of like Moana 2, where it was supposed to be a TV show and then they made it into a movie. Mm-hmm. This feels like there's some animation on side characters and environments that looks terrible. The villain is just not interesting this time around as much as the other three villains were. The other three villains had good music. They had good presentation. This time, it just has a good performance from Viola Davis. She's fantastic as the villain, but the villain itself was just nothing. There's no connection to anything. It was just really, it just wasn't that good. The story, really not that good. Awkwafina Fox, I know the character has a name, but I'm just calling her Awkwafina Fox, is really annoying. So
it's Zen.
I couldn't tell you. It's okay. Awkwafina Fox.
Okay.
There's some decent visuals. The final fight's pretty cool. But this whole thing, all three films were a journey for Poe, the main character. And then everything he learned at the end of the third movie feels undone by this movie. And it feels like a step back for him, even though it takes place chronologically after the third one. So, I don't know. I did not like this movie. It's unneeded. It gets some points for Ke Quan, who's in this movie. He plays a merchant or something. He's good. There's some decent moments, but it's just not a good movie. And I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
But before we dive into our wheel spins, we got a comment here. You think that's odd? You should see the illustrations of it. I don't know what you're talking about there. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and dive into the wheel spin movies this week. And we have our Kevin's short first.
Yeah, TikTok Tuckered. I gave an 86 out. I thought I was muted. I'm not. All right. 86 out of 100. This short is just being an adult and trying to not be late for work when you play Uno until 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what I thought this was hilarious, because that's all I was thinking about was when we game at night and we're like, we need to get off. We need to get off. And we don't, because we're having way too much fun. But it was really fun. I love Daffy and what's the pig's name? Why am I playing Porky? Really good. They don't mush together sometimes in other cartoons. So seeing them here was fantastic. Animation, I mean, can't go wrong with the 1940s animation of Warner Brothers. Absolutely loved it.
All right. My short was Donald's Off Day from 1944, and this was well animated. It's a Disney short from the 40s, so it looks good, and it has some funny moments, but it's really kind of odd because it starts out that Donald Duck has a day off, and he's going to go out and go golfing, and then the weather forces him to stay inside. There's a whole lot you could do with that premise and have his, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, all them, I think those are their names, torment him. There's a lot you can do with that. But then halfway through, it's no, we're going to have him be sitting there during the storm, and he's going to be reading a book and listening to the radio, and all of a sudden he gets super hypochondriac. And he just starts thinking that he's sick and has all these maladies, and that's how the kids make fun of him. And it's why did you just abandon the concept? It's like they took two ideas that would have been good shorts on their own and just put it together for budget reasons. And it's why? Just they could have been better on their own. Instead, they're mashed together and it just feels jumbled.
Nice. Yeah.
So
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, something better than that was The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Fantastic movie. I love how dark and gritty Gotham looks, and I like how dirty and grungy the camera looks throughout this whole movie as well for me. And Robert Pattinson might be one of my favorite Batmans, even though he's only done one film so far. I just love how he embraced the character about being very very monotone and just very to himself, and you can see it throughout the whole movie. He's to himself, and he does a great job acting that way. I mean, the action scenes are fantastic. The Batmobile looks great. We get the Penguin in this one. Yeah, the Penguin, who got his own spin-off series as well from Max, and he's also great in that. Great in this movie. I haven't seen the TV version of it, but yeah, it's a fantastic Batman movie. And then we get Catwoman as well, but she's not really in it throughout a lot of it, which is kind of, I think, is okay as well. But the Riddler is absolutely fantastic. I love that character in this movie. How don't do that. I thought I had the wrong person. Very he's so creepy in this movie too. So I absolutely loved it. So I gave him 97 out of 100. Why'd you look at me that way?
I don't know.
Okay, you made me freak out.
No, Riddler's one of my favorite like on-screen DC villains in a long time, and because they made him very believable and very crazy. So, all right. So we're going from a high score movie to a low score one, but it requires some explanation on this. So Humanoids from the Deep was from 1980. This movie is terrible. It's got poor acting. It's got a half-baked script, a reckless amount of pointless nudity. It is pure 80s cheesiness, and it feels like a film that would have been made in the 50s with less gore and less nudity. It's terrible, but I love it. This is a new guilty pleasure movie for me. I understand that it is not a good movie, but this is the kind of movie you put on with your friends to make fun of it, like Mystery Science Theater. Because there's so much to joke about. There's wooden characters that you don't give a shit about. You can joke about the fact that this is basically a ripoff of Jaws. It just in a different location with humanoids from the deep instead of a shark. Like, why are there all these horny fishmen? Why is there a ventriloquist dummy in the tent with a teen that's getting it on? Why is there so much latent sexuality? Why is this movie so focused on rape? It's really weird. On the positive side, there's some really cool practical effects in this movie for its time. The humanoids look great. The blood and gore look really good as well for the time. And they have this distinctly like 50s pulpish design to the monsters, which I really enjoyed. I've got a soft spot for pulp horror, like the monsters of the week type things. You know, like the X-Files episodes that were about a creature, like that kind of a thing. Even when they're terrible, like, you know, like Anaconda is another example of a movie like this. It's so horrible, but it's so the best way I can put it is how I ended my review. It's catastrophic yet charming.
Okay.
So okay. I loved it, but it's not a great movie.
No, and that's okay. We have those movies that aren't great, like Fast and the Furious would be one for me. It's not good, but I love it. Yeah, and I love that it is a total time capsule of like when it was made, because there is just full on fucking bush in this movie, and it is wonderful. I need to keep a counter going with movies that I watch that have just full on bush in it. That'd be a really fun letterbox list. Gosh,
I'm just making Kevin uncomfortable because I love it. Alrighty, so
is it wheel time?
I think it's wheel time.
It's wheel time.
Oh boy, it is time to spin the wheel. Let me go ahead and share the screen here real quick. Alrighty, so we've got our wheel spin here. We got I hate to say it, Kevin, but we got a shitload of movies on here. But
why do you hate to say it?
I don't hate to say it. I actually really do it. But we got a shitload of movies on here to get through. But if anyone has any movies that they would like to throw on here, let's go. What? You don't like me talking about Bush on the stream? Is YouTube gonna demonetize us even though we're not monetized? That's great. I'm just kidding. We got some from Nadia here. We got Tin and Tina. Interesting name for a movie there. Brain Dead. We got Unforgiven from Joey and The Replacements. Alrighty. Okay. Any other recommendations you want to add to the wheel? We'll give it another minute. Mm-hmm. Kevin, you watched a superhero film this last week. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are you hoping for this time?
You know, maybe I'm hoping for a horror film. A cheesy one like you had. I would be so down to watch that.
Excuse me. All right. Well, hopefully, there's Mars Attacks on here.
I already have. I think I've already reviewed it.
Well, I might want to double check because I can see it here, and it's only for you.
Oh, let's see then.
Unless you plan to join the gardeners at 7 a.m. to trim the hedges, then no, sir. Or George W.
Or George W.
No, we are talking about full-on unkempt lawns.
Yes, I have seen that.
All right, we'll go ahead and remove it off the list here for you.
I gave it 5 stars.
It's a fun movie.
It's so bad it's good.
That's what I'll say about it. Alrighty, it has been over a minute, so we'll go ahead and we'll spin the wheel. Kevin, let's get you that short.
Yep. Hopefully you can land on a short too.
That'd be really fun, and hopefully I don't have to go fucking. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go crawling around. I can barely read it. Motor mouth, I think. Motor something. Let's see if I can get it. Motor or mother? Motor Mania.
Oh, a car one, hopefully.
Well, we'll see. That's Kevin's short, Motor Mania. So we'll go ahead and we'll remove that off the list, shuffle it up, and we'll spin it for me to get my short. Remember, we are only doing one movie per week now just because I have started school and I do not have the time to watch 2. And I know Kevin's got some class stuff going on as well.
Burn.
Let's see. I think it's Little Quacker.
Okay.
You got to be careful what neighborhood you say that in. Little Quacker. Alrighty. So that is my short. Doesn't apply to me. I'm a big cracker. We're having fun here. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and spin your movie, Kevin. Here we go.
What's up there?
Whatever could it be, Kevin?
Insidious. I'm looking at the ones to the left.
And you got Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, yay. Hey, look at that.
I believe that's a Nadia pick.
Yeah, of course it is. Come on now.
Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Wow, there's sequels to it. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sleepaway Camp for Kevin. Hopefully it's a campy good time. All righty. And we'll go ahead and shuffle it up. And we'll get me my movie. Do you have a pick lined up in case it lands on you?
Nope, absolutely not.
All righty. Well, it's going to be a... Oh, no!
Day of the
Day of the Dead.
Nadia with a double. Taking it home.
Which I believe there's a couple of them. I know this was Nadia's pick. So, Nadia, is this going to be the 1985 one or the 2008 one? You need to go ahead and make that distinction. 2008 or 1985. The 2008 one. So the lower rated of the two. Darn. Okay. Well, let's see what we got going on. Day of the Dead from 2008 is my movie. All righty. So that's going to end up the wheel spin this week. We got Kevin with the short Motor Mania and the movie Sleepaway Camp. And then I have the short Little Quacker and the horror film Day of the Dead from 2008. So we both got horror movies from Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
So, all righty. Celebrating that win. Double header for Nadia this week.
Yep.
But all right. Well, that was a short episode this week, Kevin.
Yeah, it was.
So you know what? We got a little extra time. What have you been doing outside the stream, Kevin?
School and work.
Well,
Adulting.
That's exciting. Anything
That's it.
fun?
No, not that I know of.
No games you're playing? No like TV shows you're watching? Like what do you got going on? Nothing?
No, I mean I've been watching like Tim the Tap Man and Big Puffer play Marvel Rivals a lot. So stuff like that. But no. I mean hockey's always gonna be on. Stuff like that. It really nothing is going on.
Yeah, no, totally fair. Just
Mm-hmm.
felt like I should ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I started school as well, so that's been a lot of what I've been doing over the last 2 weeks. A lot of readings on
Nadia,
movies.
sorry to cut you off. Nadia did give me 2 things that are coming up. Actually, yeah, coasters and skating. So we're the little pop-up skating rink is here at the K-Scope, and it'll be fun. And then we're going to Knott's Berry Farm next week. That's what the other one
There you
is.
go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Garrett, so sound like a guidance counselor. Oh, you, not so. Yeah. So what do you got going on there, bud?
Yeah.
What you got to look forward to? Where do you want to go to school? No, I'm just kidding.
Nowhere.
No, yeah. So I've been doing my class this week. For those of you who don't know, for some reason, it's usually the regulars in here at this point. I'm doing my film masters. So last week was talking kind of like an intro. This week was about genre. So that was a lot of fun, which is one of my favorite things to talk about with movies is genre. So next week is going to have some writing. So it's going to be a little cray-cray. Joey asks, are you going to Knott's for the Peanuts anniversary?
I didn't even know they had a Peanuts anniversary, but yeah, we'll probably be there. So
there you go.
We're
I
gonna
definitely
ride
want to
the
go. I want to go for the not boysenberry. Is it boysenberry? Yeah, maybe it's
boysenberry.
Boysenberry Festival. So
Nadia just says
nuts.
Oh, nuts.
Sometimes hidden by bush. We're bringing
horrible.
it back. No,
horrible.
so besides school though, I mean, I this week didn't watch a lot of movies this week because I had more kind of homework to do. But I have been kind of listening to music a lot more lately. I started my new collection. I mean, you obviously see that I collect movies, but I'm starting to collect vinyl now as well. Mm-hmm. So I was just showing Kevin for the stream. We've got some wonderful vinyls here. I've got a couple that are on their way. So don't have a vinyl player yet, but I will be getting one soon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, other than that, it's been just a little bit of games. Picked up a game that I haven't played since college. So that'll be kind of fun.
Is it? Is that Unpacked? That one?
No, it's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is on Game Pass if you want to check it out. Yeah, other than that, not a whole lot going on. So, but okay. Yeah, hate to leave it on that note, but there's not a lot else to discuss.
Yeah.
So, coming up on Friday on Movie Club, we are going to be taking a look at the Danish film The Hunt, which Kevin has already posted his review for, and oh man, is this one you're going to be looking forward to watch this week, this Movie Club episode. That's going to go live on 4 a.m. on Friday morning, so make sure you're subscribed to know when that goes live. And of course, we do have this live stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's about it. But thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday, or we'll see you on Friday with Movie Club.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.